Welcome to episode 11 Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be recapping a brand new Netflix docu-series titled Hitmakers. But behind every hit song is the person who wrote it. In the new docu-series Hitmakers, we follow 12 of the industry's best songwriters and producers as they come together at a real high-stakes writing camps to create hits for today's biggest stars like John Legend, Shabuzi, Lisa of Blackpink. With tensions high and time short, the viewers get a front row seat at the creative chaos, emotional stakes, and personal breakthroughs. This isn't just about writing music, it's the journey to become a hit maker. The songwriters include Jenna Andrews, Tommy Brown, Trey Campbell, Ferris, Harv, Ben Johnson, Stephen Kirk, Jay Hart, Whitney Phillips, Seven Streeter, and Nova Wave. They are going to be going to the Bahamas, Nashville, and Cabo, or where the writing camps are, writing songs for John Legend, Usher, Shabuzi, and Lisa from Blackpink. This, to me, on paper, creative idea. I liked it a lot because at the end of the day, we don't see these type of series. It's like that these songs are written by X, Y, and Z, and that there's a writing team behind all of these individuals. But what we don't see at the end of the day are the interesting elements of how those come to life. You know what I mean? How does a songwriter camp? I didn't even a songwriting camp. I had no clue. You know what I mean? Like it was such a cool dynamic to watch this show and follow through. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to recap episode by episode here and share my thoughts with you guys on what I think about the songs that they created because they create so many cool songs, and then my overall thoughts on the show as a collective whole as well. So we start off in the Bahamas. Yeah, the Bahamas. Look, I wanted to be a songwriter just so that I could be in one of these writer camps outside of actually having to do the work. Each day, producers and writers will be split into different rooms to write songs that navigate the best combos. In this first episode, Studio A had Nova Wave, Steven, Jenna, which is both two combo teams. Nova Wave is a combo team with two people. It's Chi and Blue June, I think it is. Yeah. And then on Studio B, we have Tommy, Ben, and Seven. Studio C, Harv, Whitney, and Trey. So the navigating things, right? Ben was impressing early on with Tommy and Seven, while Steven is struggling with Nova Wave and Jenna. Steven's computer wasn't working, and then he starts to blame his significant other for it because she might have dropped it or whatever. He finally got it working. The dynamic of how all of this works comes to fruition by you have to write the song, you have to come up with the melody. So you're producing it, you're writing it, and then you're singing it, and then you're bringing it to life. And then what happens is everybody brings that song to like a listening party. And the listening party consists of all of your other songwriters there, and they kind of give some feedback on this. It's like bringing your project from school to the table. The first song that was brought to the table was Cherry by Harv, Whitney, and Trey. And I'll tell you what, this one was a banger. Banger. Heaven on Earth was the second song, and Rescue You was the third song. Right from the first episode, you have 6 episodes. You can tell these folks are great at what they do because each of the songs were fantastic. I struggle with my favorite of these because each one of them had their own version of being standout. But I think Heaven on Earth, to me, in that first group, Heaven on Earth 1111. Yeah, Nova Wave, Steven, and Jenna, even overcoming those crazy obstacles early on, I really wasn't quite impressed with what they were able to do. Now, day 2, we had new groups together. Studio A had Tommy, Whitney, and Jenna. Studio B, Nova Wave and Trey. Studio C, Harv, Ben, Steven, and Seven. So they split up Steven and Jenna there. Whitney and Jenna like butt heads early on, which was interesting to see some of these people kind of butt heads on how they do things. I mean, but if you're going to go through the list, like these people have written songs for like Cher to, Hitmakers. Let me look at this cast real quick. But these people have written songs. Oh my God, I wish I had it. I had it up here somewhere. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, guys. I had a list. I felt like I did. But I mean, John Legend, they've written songs for some of the most, the most infamous people in all of the land, really. When you think about it, they've written a lot of great songs for a lot of different people. And songwriter Yeah, so they just written a lot of great songs. I wish I had the list in front of me because they had even say some of them at the beginning of the episode. But nonetheless, we'll continue on here. But let's see. Whitney and Jenna were kind of butting heads because of the personalities. Everyone is heading to a yacht while Jenna, Whitney, and Tommy are trying to finish their song. This song right here, "Don't Take It Away," by Harv, Ben, and Steven and Seven. And then there was "Day by Day" by Nova Wave and Trey. "Miles and Miles" by Tommy, Whitney, and Jenna. I'll be honest with you. When you look at Steven, and it's nothing against the guy, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with the way the guy looks. But this dude, his voice, oh my God. Like, I, I just, I was blown away by his voice. Just it shocked me. Like I was just again, I don't even really know what to say because I just loved his voice. I love the talent that he brought to the table. It really just put me on the floor, and I loved every element of his voice and the song that he wrote. I even asked him in the interview, which again, if you're watching this, I do interview the cast of Hitmakers. Um, uh, I asked him in an interview, like, where did this come from? And the song came from just based on the idea of him being away from, they separated him and his wife. And just the idea of "Don't Take It Away" was stemmed from that. And I love that element of this. We've moved to Nashville. We're writing for Shabuzi. We got some new folks added to the table. Jay Hart, who wrote songs for Usher, Bieber, Keith Urban, Cher, TLC, like the list went on and on. Ferris, who wrote songs for Katy Perry, Adam Lambert, and Jonas Brothers, just to name a few. Now we're writing some country music. Again, I love how they went from some R&B ish with John Legend. Now we're moving to Shabuzi and some country. It shows the range that you either have to have or you do have when it comes to writing music. So that was kind of cool to me. Studio A had Ben, Harv, Whitney, and Jay Hart. Studio B had Steven, Jenna, Trey, and Ferris. Studio C had Tommy, Nova Wave, and Seven. Ferris was kind of just not fitting in right away, and everyone in Studio B is not vibing with the country aspect. It was kind of weird to see like some of these songs, like they actually turn out great, but like when you watch them, it's like there's chaos. It's just chaos listening to them on kind of chaos ensues. The first song, "My Side of Midnight" by Studio A, Ben, Harv, Whitney, and Jay Hart. This was like a bop. I could really see Shabuzi rocking that song 100%. They pulled up with a second song, "Say It Ain't So." The same group did, but I wasn't as a fond of that song as I was this song. Now this was probably one of my favorite songs of the entire thing. It's a country happy birthday song, and it was called "Happy Birthday to Me." Tommy, Nova Wave, and Seven came up with it. Tommy came up with the idea as he's sitting inside like the bar. They were singing "Happy Birthday." Like, man, like, do we have like a country music happy birthday song? This to me, like, I hope somebody brings this out because it was awesome. Country by Steve, Jenna, Trey, and Ferris. I like Loki like this one as well. My favorite was "My Side of Midnight," but the birthday song is pretty cool. The group chatted with Shabuzi for a minute or two. Studio A this time had Ben, Harv, Trey, and Jenna, and they had "A Little Bit More" was their song. And again, another banger. Jay Hart, Ferris, and Nova Wave had Tarantino. This was my favorite song. As a movie guy, if this isn't a song in a movie, somebody's doing it wrong. Like, even if Tarantino puts it in his own damn movie, I just don't know what it would be in, but I need this song in a movie because it was fantastic. It was creative. It was unique, and it was just right up my alley. Whitney, Steven, Seven, and Tommy, "Home for Dinner." Seven, my goodness. Let me talk to her about her for a minute. First off, the confidence level when she walked in the door, mind blowing. Her ability to create the songs, and then just on top of that, the icing on cake was she could sing, man. She could sing. Just what a woman. Let's see here. Steven has a real thing of like rubbing people the wrong way the entire time, and people didn't love the way that he treats Jenna. And I could see why. Watching this back will be interesting for the couple, but yeah, he rubbed people the wrong way with how he treated her, and I don't really particularly blame how people reacted to this. We moved to Cabo, where we're writing for Usher now. Trey's feathers were ruffled by Steven, who seemed to ruffle everyone's feathers. L.A. Reid said Usher wants to make people dance. So Studio A had Ben, Tommy, Whitney, Jay Hart, Seven, Jenna, and Steven were in Studio B. Harv, Trey, and Nova Wave were in Studio C. Tommy and Whitney butt heads on his idea. Think that they could come up with something else. Tommy dips his toes to see what everyone else is doing, but Ben freaks out because they need his pizzazz on this song. You know, Seven and Jenna, button heads, two big personalities. Jenna's got a big personality, and you saw her kind of butt heads with Whitney as well, but now she's doing it with Seven. Tommy and Tommy, who was the other person? Tommy and somebody else confronted Steven about how he treated Jen at the dinner table. He was all defensive about it, and these dudes were right. And to be honest with you, I congratulate these guys for standing up for her and standing up. Hey, man, this is a business where women aren't exactly looked at on the same level, so you can't demean her or belittle her in front of the crowd and expect good things to happen from it. But he's like, oh, I don't give a shit. Let's see here. Location Studio A had Ben, Tommy, and Whitney. Location, Ben mentioned Tommy going AWOL. They shit on the song basically because it wasn't good. Comfortable by J Heart, Seven, Jenna, and Steven. I thought this was okay. Unanimous. This was a slow dance and baby making style of song, which is not making people dance. But I like that song. Let's see here. Seven and Steven got into it, which was whatever. Steven talks to Trey, gets hyped up about things, and I love that. See, Seven just seems like such a genuine person. Like if you're on her side, she's a real one. Studio A, B, and C were back into the mix for Usher. Harv, Whitney, and Seven. Rose Gold. Again, Seven sung the song. It was an incredible song. Can't Relate by Jay Hart, Jenna, and Nova Wave. This was a solid song, but apparently Ben had to give Jay Hart's song title Can't Relate, and Ben had it out. This caused a big rift between Ben and Jay Hart. Studio B sung Mile High. Mile High was a banger. And to be honest with you, like I really feel like he should sing this song, period, end of story. All right. The last writing day of the thing was for Lisa from Blackpink, not Lisa Pink, Lisa from Blackpink. Team, and then so Jay Hart and Ben had a little bit of a chat. They had to come into Jesus. They apologized. Ben apologized to the crowd. And then we create songs. We had Back in Business. I thought this was solid by Steven, Whitney, and Jenna. Chi, Seven, Jay Hart, and Ben did 11. Again, I love Seven. She's so talented. The song was also a banger. Harv, Blue, Tommy, and Trey did Hot. Pretty solid. Definitely would be a club banger in my opinion as well. And then towards the end of the show, we go to LA. Tommy has a restaurant in LA called The Boulevard. They pull up in his Lambo, which was like crazy. We see the squad and they give us some updates on some of the songs, right? So Trey and Tommy hung out with John Legend. They played him Rescue You. That Seven Tommy created. He liked it but didn't love it. They played Cherry by Harv, Whitney, and Trey, and Legend loved that one. I cannot agree more. That song was a banger. Seven and Harv met with Ellie Reed. They started with Unanimous. He said it sounded good, but didn't think anything emotional out of it. Followed by Rose Gold by Harv, Seven, and Whitney. He really liked that one. He said if Usher doesn't take it to, if Usher doesn't take Rose Gold, he has a young artist named Paradise that would be the one for that song. Lisa is going to potentially cut 11 that Ben, J Hart, Chi, and Seven worked on. And then apparently Lainey Wilson is looking into cutting the Happy Birthday song, which is really exciting for me. But yeah, overall, this was such a fun and unique experience, seeing an insight of the world of songwriting and their ability to create songs and how these songwriting camps work and how the personalities mesh with one another. That to me is worth watching alone. You know what I mean? We see a lot of these singing competition shows, and if you're not watching Build in the Band, you're missing out on a good one. It just finished, but it's an easy binge as well. But for me, I really enjoyed the behind the scenes look of writing the songs, how it comes together. Maybe if they come out with a season 2, maybe a little bit more about the creation of the songs and how they create the songs. Maybe they don't want to really kind of reveal the entire process, which is understandable. But ultimately, this to me was a no-brainer hit. Netflix, greenlit a great show. They had some talented artists on there for them to write songs to that brings those eyes as well. But let me know, you guys, if you watch Hitmakers, let me know your thoughts. Let me know some of your favorite songs from the show. I really like breaking it down and breaking it down per song that they wrote and the ones that I really, really enjoyed. But thank you guys so much for the continued support of the Love and Reality podcast. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. And I'll be back very soon breaking down another reality TV show in the near future.